On one hand, you're claiming that you're trying to look out for the best benefit of the child, but you're showing your complete ignorance as to how that actually happens if you're only thinking that money is the answer, and it's not.
Fathers and mothers alike who are divorced have a responsibility to meet child support payments, and whether or not you're gainfully employed, that can be difficult. But in New Jersey and many other states, not paying your child support on time comes with an additional penalty: the immediate suspension of your driver's license. For parents like LaQuay Dansby, it's put them in a catch-22. You no longer can drive, but often you have to drive to work. No license can mean no earning capacity, which puts them even further behind on the child support payment.
Because their mindset is, he's a deadbeat, he's a bad person, he doesn't want to take care of his children, and that is, I would argue that is really not even the majority.
In New Jersey, one lawyer is trying to change all that. David Perry Davis has filed a class action lawsuit on behalf of LaQuay and others, not to allow parents to get away with not paying child support, but to give judges discretion as to whether or not the license should or should not be suspended. If successful, the lawsuit would change the rules to allow judges to differentiate between those who can't pay and those who won't pay. And actually, the impact of this could be huge. 21,000 New Jersey driver's licenses could be restored in a single day. But why was LaQuay, an Atlantic City native, former Marine Corps combat engineer, who has a degree in international economics from Stockton University, not able to pay his child support in the first place? The reason for that goes back 20 years to a domestic violence incident between himself and his first wife that occurred on a military base, federal property. So the battery charge he received is federal and not able to be expunged.
I make no excuses for my situation. I own up to all of my actions.
The charges followed him around since, making it impossible for him to be hired by the big firms that his education and skills would normally allow him to work at. So he makes his living doing consulting work, which is based on a contract and not steady 12-month-a-year work.
I was feast and famine.
To make things worse, the court has determined that his education means his earning potential is set at $80,000, and his child support payments are assessed accordingly. He says he's been in situations where he was out working to make the money that he needs to make these child support payments, only to be pulled over and find out he'd gotten another license suspension.
At that point, that job is over because I'm getting arrested, right? So I would find out that my driver's license was suspended while I'm driving.
After a dozen such suspensions, which by the way gives him sky-high insurance premiums, LaQuay is on better financial ground now, healing his relationship with his son, and remarried to a woman with whom he has a different outlook on life.
Oh, I don't fight. I don't fight, I don't argue. I don't argue. You can say whatever you want to say to me. Everything can be discussed, everything can be negotiated, everything can be reasoned.
Judge Mary Jacobson heard arguments on this case last year, and we're waiting for her decision.
I don't see the logic at all in taking away a driver's license of somebody who's got to make child support. I mean, you're just undercutting their ability to earn a living and pay this to child support. It's completely self-defeating. I don't understand that at all.
A driver's license is not a right, it's a privilege, and you got to earn that privilege. If you have a child, you got to figure out how you're going to pay that child support.
Well, you wonder if, though, the solution is not going to be worse. I mean, what are the available resources for the courts to enforce child support payments? I mean, what are you going to throw the dad in jail? Because you got an issue there, too.
That does happen.
I know. So it's a challenging issue.
And the question is, can't versus won't. There is a big difference between the two.